finish what I started earlier talking about, but in any event, if you watch part one, you get a pretty good idea, you get a brief take on what the situation is. But what I get from all this is just one more sign to me that it's all going to come to an end. The grind is really wearing thin. America is in dire straits. Our government officials, the puppet heads, come out and promise that they're going to, just for instance, Obamacare, can you imagine how massive of a government agency will be created from the health care reform? Okay, the situation that I described earlier with my wife and I, she's disabled and getting disability, Social Security, which I, once again, will say I'm glad she's getting something from them, because I won't get a goddamn bit of my money, and neither will anybody else. The money's spent. It's a revolving door account. They've misused and abused the Social Security Trust Fund. Something that they said they would never do is tap into it. Well, they tapped into it, and they've drained it dry just like they'll drain any other fucking resource dry. That's what they do. That's what they specialize in. Now, you expect me to think or believe for 1 second that our government can manage healthcare reform with a bureaucracy that's going to be so huge? It's 1/3 of our economy. And you expect me to think, okay, my wife and I can't even get a simple answer from a fucking receptionist at our local Social Security office because she's a fat ass that don't want to do her job. She wants to soak her paycheck up and get a vacation and eat a fucking donut on my tax dollars. You know, I can't even get an answer from her. Now, can you imagine when a man needs a heart transplant or needs an emergency surgery, when he's on the phone like we've been for a couple of days, just getting basically humiliated and being treated, less than. All we do is ask him questions we can't get answers for. Can you imagine when the man's on the other line that needs a heart transplant and the fat lady's eating a donut and don't give a damn if he dies? And that's what it'll come to, because any government agency you can go into, none of them run efficient. They're all in the red. Name one that makes money besides the IRS. That's about the only one, and they probably, I don't know that they come out ahead. They probably break even after they pay all their fucking high-price revenuers to go out and wreak havoc on people. But, okay, the Postal Service, I mean, how long has it been since it's been profitable? I mean, you can go on and on. Everything the government touches turns to nothing but a loss. They misuse it. They abuse it. They sink money into it. They never recover. They hire their cousins and their nephews and all their friends, and they pull favors from this guy. And next thing you know, everybody that works there is a good-for-nothing, soaking up a free paycheck, a lazy son of a bitch. In the meantime, the hard-working normal Americans go out and work every day and at a job that we don't get the same benefits they get. We don't get vacations. We don't get sick days. We don't get a lot of the things they get. We work our fingers to the bone to pay for power, water, lights, taxes to fund these assholes a job, so that when we do need their help, and they're also willing to help if you just ask them. In reality, they're not willing to do a goddamn thing. They don't even want to answer the phone, but you work your fingers to the bone. You work to the grind just so that you can pay for them to sit up there, and when you need them, give them a call, ask a question, and get humiliated. It's pathetic. I have not encountered one person at any government agency believe me, I wouldn't ask them for anything. I would not basically spit on them to put them out if they were burning. There's not one agency that I would ask a thing of from this government. What I would ask is that they leave me alone, let me keep my taxes, and whatever it is that the federal government's doing for me as an individual or as a 41-year-old white male, they could just keep it. I'm yet to see what they do for me, but whatever it is that they think they do to deserve my tax dollars, they can just keep, and I'll keep my money. And if I need a doctor, I'll pay for it. And if they need some more taxes, they can get it from somebody else, because I don't want to pay. I can't even get a simple answer from a Social Security office. It's supposed to be helping, somebody that's what they're there for. Their fucking phone numbers in the phone book. It's an information line. And you call up and all you get is a bitch on the other line that wants to be rude, smart ass, can't answer a goddamn thing. All she can tell you is what time she gets off work today and when her next fucking vacation is. And the Obamacare, can you imagine how many fat secretaries you're going to have all over the fucking United States answering phones, eating donuts, where the man on the other line needs a liver transplant or a major surgery? Buddy, I can't get an answer on a date of an appeal that they've scheduled that I have to attend with my wife, and hopefully we can hire an attorney because it's probably going to take it at this point. I can't even get a simple date and time to show up to present my case with my wife, or her case rather. And do you expect that when a man needs a surgery, emergency surgery, a liver transplant, a heart transplant, that do you think that he's going to be able to get any help from them, or a date, or a surgery scheduled, or a doctor that gives a fuck if it goes to the government? No, what he's going to get is a coffin and a burial plot, because he will die before they'll even pick up the goddamn phone. And I'm sure if he needs a liver transplant on that day, it will be a paid vacation for a government worker, and there won't be no one to answer the goddamn phone, because they will not work past any fucking moment. They don't give any extra. They barely give an adequate amount, but they won't give one bit extra. They don't go the extra mile because it's not private. It's not a private in the private sector. In the private sector, you have to do what your boss asked you in order to maintain employment. Well, it don't work that way when you get a fat ass paycheck from a government job. If you're lucky enough to know Bubba's uncle's cousin or the good old boy system in your town, or either you're lucky enough to be a minority or maybe civil service, and you can land you one of these government gravy jobs, if you're lucky enough to get one. But everyone else has to go out, and if it requires that you work a little bit over that day because of a situation, you probably don't have to. You do that a couple of times, guess what? Your boss will find somebody to fill your spot because he needs you when he needs you, and you have to do what the man asks. But if you're one of the government, employees, you don't do one thing. At 1 minute till, you're lined up at the damn time clock, and you don't give a damn if the man on the phone needs a heart transplant or not. You're hanging the fucking phone up and you're heading out the door with your fat paycheck for the day to go lay up in your fucking nice home that is in a neighborhood that I could never afford to live in, and drive your brand new car, all paid for by the hardworking men and women of America that pay taxes. Yet, if you mention it to them just in passing, hey, you work for us, they don't seem to see it that way. For whatever reason, they've lost sight of the tax dollars that we pay provides them a job. Therefore, they should be more than willing to help when you need it, answer any question available, go the extra mile to see that your questions are answered, because that's their job, for one. And the next thing is, it's because you pay their paycheck. They should feel privileged to help you. But no, that's not what they feel. They feel, what they feel is pissed off because they got to do something. They don't want to do their job as it is. They feel as if you owe them something, and they don't owe you anything. And before you're done, when they take over healthcare, God knows what can happen. Obama, what I see is happening from Obama and his clones and all his little puppet heads, they are on an all-out crusade to try to push every liberal cause through, regardless of who they bribe, who they corrupt, who they threaten, whatever means possible. He's going to push them all through. He wants his legacy to stand tall because he's the only African-American president. And, he's not even truly African-American. I don't know exactly what Obama is, but his legacy, he wants to, to really be written in the history books, evidently, of somebody that pushed all these agendas through. They've been trying for years. They just hadn't. But, when you get a guy like Obama, he's a smooth operator. He promise you this, he'll promise you that, and he'll get his way. And when he gets it all passed, in 4 years, he's done, more than likely. And when that happens, he's going to leave his country in one hell of a mess. And it's been in a mess, and there ain't nobody can straighten it out as it was. Bush left it in a mess. But Obama, he's going to create a worse mess. Basically, the bottom line is America is on the verge of collapse. The New World Order is probably just sitting there licking their lips ready to chomp down. And it's a sad place and a sad state of America today. And all I can do is just think and shake my head at where it's become. And all I can say is you better get ready. And I hope that you don't need a heart transplant under Obama.